Alrighty, so you ready? You guys?
No.
Yep. Then you're still looking at your book. Alright, so.
You know.
To make people get their dice.
What the fuck? Asno? Fucking cool. Shitty kitty getting locked up. You had out of your box of dice.
I don't know why it's in my box of dice.
I don't know why it's in here.
Alright. We continue to dig for dice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what do you remember from last time?
I'm slipping down that slippery slope of like darkness.
You're a dork. You are a dork.
It takes me to know what. I found your shit, didn't you?
Yes, you're a big dork.
I am not a blubbering whale penis. You are a dork.
Suck my dork. Is what so,
You wish.
from the last time.
So we found a bunch of like random like forest elf sort of things, and we just really well they spoke like
One of them spoke out. Yeah.
and then we got out away from like the hordes of people trying to kill us. And then
Oh, there's no mention of you just like up and murdering people.
well, I didn't kill that many people myself. I am this tiny little creature. I'm not that bad.
So, after all run from some of the tribes in the open sky, you flipped the carriage over and took off with a mad cross country. As you can see by your map that you have on top of the binder, which I'll take note to this YouTube stream. Where's the map? Where's the map? I never see anything. That way we don't have to deal with that situation.
Oh, we never went through what exactly was in the scroll case. It was a bottle of something, and that stuff. But we can get to that later.
Yep, very much later. So, the last time that you took off on your Mad Cat ride, we left off with y'all. By the time the sun would have set, you all would have reached the city limits and would have been able to see why exactly the city is full of black towers.
We had somebody meet us there.
Yep, you were
I scored the last part.
greeted by a group of scouts that addressed and then rode with you into the town.
I got the rifle.
Yep.
Damn lazy horse.
Yep. Well, you're a small creature, so. So, by the time the sun sets, you are greeted by a not quite as large as you would expect. It's pretty much in line with like some of the smaller giants' heads. And they notice that they won't fit into the castle. So the giants are camping outside of the castle.
Okay.
So that becomes one of the issues that, that's quickly handled. And only your good friend Bannister is allowed inside.
You say good friend.
Yeah, he's your buddy. So, when it comes back time to y'all's conversation and actually going into the city past this part, the emissary looks at you and says, "Do you wish to retire, or do you wish to come with us to the temple before the sun sets?" No, don't pay him no fucking mind. I'm gonna shove something under that door.
So I look at like the rest of the group, like if the amateur and the others are all going off the direction of like a couple, like what are they?
Bannister, well, I mean, you'd have to give me a D20 cent motive. Or are you just waiting to see what he says?
I'm just waiting to see what they do, like if they're all going in that direction.
Bannister says that he'll see to his men.
I'm going to see if like there's a way I can go to the shower and like something else to change into.
Okay. So,
Like no offense, but need a change.
when you come into the city, they send one of the knights off, and they ride off as fast as they can, and they head in an opposite direction. And they look at you and go, "Well, we're gonna head on to our destination, but if you wait here, we'll have a footman come and get you, or we can just have him meet you at the temple."
I could wait at the temple, like just while you guys there.
Okay. So one of the things that you notice is that as the sun is setting, there are a lot of goblins, hobgoblins, and there's some kind of goblinoid that you've never seen before. You see bugbears, you see humans, you see dark, like Duro, like the Grey Dwarves. You don't see you don't see very many of them in they're like the dark. But like here, there seems to be a very significant number of them. And you notice that a lot of them have like this motif. Like they seem to have like these goblins and everything, the goblinoids and everything that you're seeing, the more monstrous humanoids, they seem to either have like some kind of like pin like on like their cloaks or like their tunic or like whatever they happen to be wearing. And like you notice like there are like ones with little axes and like daggers and shapes like that. And I need a little black notebook that I've been taking notes. Don't be an asshole, cat. Don't be getting smart. It's wrong. That's the book. Stop part. He ran in here.
He did. He read everything.
He separated from his daddy. I seem to be losing fucking shit left and right.
Are you losing your mind?
Of all the things I miss the most, I miss my sanity. Oh, what the fuck is going on?
Did you throw it in your container over there? So they would have like either a pen, either on their cloak, or
so like you see ones like there's. Okay, let me make an adjustment here. So what you notice is that a lot of the humans are wearing armor and they have a sword pinned somewhere on their cloak. You see that there is, I mentioned about the axe, so yeah, the axe, you notice that there's mostly like ogres, orcs, they're not really wearing clothes, but they either have like the image of like a hand axe painted on them, or like they carry like some kind of like standard when they like into like their motif that they're wearing. One of the things that you quickly notice is that when you get closer to the temple, that there are now like a mix of like clerics that are wearing like the colors of red, black, green, white, and like there's one more I forgot. Oh my god. Black, green, red, white, and blue. And when you like these people, you see that they have like the image of a mace on, or they're carrying a mace, and it has like multicolors to the metals. And then like the last group that you see are all dressed in like black robes. They don't seem to carry anything with them or any kind of standard other than just like the black robes. And from their accoutrements and stuff, you can tell that they're some kind of spellcasters. They're not all the same kind of spellcaster, it seems, but they are spellcasters. So when you come in to like the vestibule where like they leave you, what do you do?
Just kind of look around.
Okay, so one of the things like with the vestibule is that you notice that there are giant, like there's 5 alcoves, and you see giant statues, and each of them are one of those colors of dragons. So, and they are accurate representations of dragons, which for people who have never seen dragons should seem very, very off-putting. So as you're standing there, you notice that a lot of these people are passing you by without any notice, and they are proceeding into like the double door. There's a set of there's 2 sets of double doors in between like the red, blue, and black dragon. So that way you can just be able to walk in. And you see that there is torchlight, and you notice like the room beyond is like really crowded, and you can hear the sounds of like low conversations. But you can also see like there's like 2 big, huge like.
Do I smell that incense from before?
No, you don't. So like as you're standing there, you hear someone say, "Are you coming in?" And when you turn around, it's a. Remember how the human that spoke Elvish to you looked? Black hair, bronze skin, kind of what we would describe as being a member of the Native Americans.
Okay.
She has that same appearance, but she has like some kind of weird marks tattooed across her face, and it looks like they're scarred into her face.
Looking at her and kind of wondering, but looking at everything.
And she goes, "Are you coming in?"
Not sure.
She goes, "Well, be my guest and sit next to me."
So it's going to go on.
She goes, "Well, we're going to give praise to Jesus for y'all arriving safely. And at the end of the day, we usually hold a small prayer service. You know, the clerics, such as myself, I do leading the chant. Like we usually call it to Jesus forth, and if she to whatever servants that she's willing to speak with, delivers her messages of what she wants done, or whatever supplications that they want to give her, or whatever. It's your conversation with her basically time, and it only lasts a few moments.
I seem to remember I've done these things before. This seemed to last more than a few moments. And healing a little too much of whatever the instance is and make all sorts of weird. So I'm please don't mind me like for being a little leery.
She goes, "That's okay. I can leave you here if you want."
For now, I'm gonna try to find you inside.
I'm sure your footman will probably come very soon.
Okay, thank you.
So she walks through the double doors, and like they close behind her.
Okay.
And like a few minutes later, like you hear that same sound, and like when you're standing there in the vestibule, you hear a female voice.
Do I recognize his voice?
Oh yeah, you've heard it before.
around.
And like it's not like there doesn't seem to be like words to it, but like you seem to hear like a whispering voice. It seems to be like her whispering voice, like, and like when you look around, like it's just like it's you just seem to miss it, like you're surrounded by it.
You need me to go in there, go with you.
Is that addressed to me as your DM, or
No,
are you just saying that out loud?
Just saying it out loud. With the
Like you don't really get an answer.
sound around the footman. Do you hear anything else?
No, and in fact, it's you still seem to have that sensation, but like the temple doors, like the exterior temple doors have closed. Like you've noticed, like their monks have like closed the doors.
Thank God with my hand on the door doesn't do anything.
When you go to put your hand against the door, like it's a pretty heavy door, so like
No, just like touching it, it feels like anything.
Oh, no. I mean, like it depends. I mean, are you going to use detect? What are you trying to look for? Because like, are you going to use detect magic?
I've had wiggy shit. I have wiggy gear that I touch it and sometimes it does weird shit. I'm just trying to test that theory.
So when you touch the walls, like you go up and touch the doors, like you get. Well, you know what? Give me a. You're either going to have to use detect magic, or you just walk up to it, and it's going to be like the physical sensation of a door. Because like that's the best way to answer it for you. Like you go up, put your hand on it, it's a door, but like you sense that maybe the building, maybe the doors, there's more to it.
I mean, like, so what do I use to add with that, or?
So like, what are you using? Are you just going to cast detect magic? Because I believe that you have that ability, correct?
Well, I have to touch.
No, it's okay. Don't worry about it. I'm going to pull up it as well on here.
Detect evil, detect wall, detect thoughts, detect.
I could have swore you had detect magic, but.
I want to see there's something in here about technology, but.
Okay, so detect. Yeah. Okay. So no, you have dispel magic. You don't have detect. Okay. What I would recommend that you would really be wanting to try to use is like you have like knowledge arcana or use magic device like as like a crude, ooh, what does this do?
It has a knowledge arcana.
Okay.
And they rolled an 18.
Okay. So with your knowledge arcana roll, you know that, or you suspect because you're not you're not a priest or anything here or one of the monks. So you can only suspect that perhaps that there is some kind of magic that once the temple sealed, it like forms a consecration. So the best way to really describe it with knowledge arcana is that you know that it somehow makes it easier for entities of like deities perhaps outside of beings to basically have these conversations.
So me hearing like the whispering and stuff, it's not coming from the building.
No.
That was the main reason for the whole thing. And
you suspect that still whispering voice that's in the back of your head that you're trying to look around the corner of the room for is it coming from?
Okay. So I'm going to kind of flutter about around to see if I can get a better sense of where.
How high do you flutter up? Like until it really increases in noise, or?
I'm gonna go like 7-8 feet up to start.
Okay.
To see if it like clarifies.
So like you're still like within that, like it's still, like you're still hearing that same sound. So you have a flight speed of 60. This would be. So yeah, so like you want to keep flying up, or what do you want to do? Because you said you basically want to keep flying to what, your voice get clearer?
Well, like kind of, yeah, so it kind of clarifies where I can kind of make out more of what's being said instead of just being like, just that kind of.
So it takes a good while. It takes you a few minutes, and I shouldn't say it takes you a few minutes, about 4 or 5 minutes, and you with the dragon statues at some point, and that's when let's give me D20.
16. Any modifiers?
Maybe.
Like a spot? Search? Or listen? Since I'm already like.
It would be a 22, but like I'm not going to tell you what the negative side because of prior conditions. So eyes with the statue, you clearer.
A particular color that I'm seeing with it? Like what color is the statue?
Like you notice, like you think that it's coming from, like when you look at the dragon, it seems to be coming from each one of the dragons.
Are each of the voices different?
No, it's the same voice.
Okay.
But it's that same low murmur. So the voice doesn't ever clear up. But however, you notice that the closer you come to the doors, the more clearer the voice is.
Are there access points where I'm at, where I can get into the building?
You mean into the next room?
Mm-hmm.
Now, give me another roll. So like when you're searching, like you notice that there is some kind of air ventilation up towards, like behind the dragon's head, to like where you being 2 feet tall, you could be able to like crouch down and like view into the next room. It's the suspicion that you're getting, because that tunnel looks kind of deep and you can see beyond it, and there's not any kind of like filters or like screens. You know, it's just a simple open airway.
I'm curious.
Okay. So what do?
I'm curious. Keep guard the voices.
Okay.
I go in.
So you crawl through the tunnel?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the good news is, like, you're not overcome with it at once, but when you start crawling along, I need another D20 roll from you.
Oh.
What was it?
11.
It was an 11. Okay. So, nice. Okay. So, all of a sudden, like, you feel like you have to take a nap, and like as you're like, are you standing up, or like you on fours crawling, or like, so Sneaky, you like all of a sudden sneak up. I'm gonna sneak up.
Can I be invisible, Stephen?
Like you could probably make it your last thing that you do to go invisible.
Okay. Just in case. I don't want people to see me.
So like you, and you're invisible. It's like the last thing that you think about. And when you wake up, you're not creeping along the little tower. Like instead, you're you know how grandma's house looks? How it's you've never seen her house. Oh, that's right. That's right. You've never seen her house. Okay. So you have never seen grandma's house. So this is going to be interesting. You find yourself for this three-storied black stucco building with this stairway that leads up 3 stories, and then there's a big, huge double door, and there's columns. And one of the things that you notice is that every few feet, like if you're looking at this building, there's some kind of little guard, like niche or something that allows a guard to look out, as well as into the court, onto the roof, or whatever may be right out on the other side of the street. So, see this, what you, by the way, this is the only building when you turn around in any direction. It's like you're standing in the middle of a vast desert, and it's nighttime.
Does the air smell funny? Does it smell like incense?
No, it does not smell like incense. In fact, the air carries no scent whatsoever.
So can you walk up to the front?
So when you just proceed up to the stairs, or what do you do?
I know that that hesitant, kind of like few steps at a time.
Okay.
And
So
continue and then go up to the stairs.
the more steps that you take, the more stronger sensation that you belong here. That there's something very familiar about this. And like the closer you get to the doors, like it's in the back of your head, and you're like, this is so familiar. I feel like I need to be here. There's something important. What am I missing? Is it something? And when you get to the doors, like all of a sudden, like they spring open, and they're pushed open by like 2 goblins, and they are wearing like the color blue, like they're wearing like these blue tunics, and like they bow to you. Like they don't say a word, but like they bow, and like don't even meet your eye gaze, and you walk past them and don't even give it a second thought, and you don't know why. But like when you come into the courtyard, like you come into this courtyard, you're not surprised by the fact that it being a courtyard. Like you knew it was going to be here. Like you know that this wide little avenue that's along the top of the house in this courtyard, that there's something important about it. And I don't recognize this number.
Ignore it. Lily's been getting here for this too.
You end up flying. It's got like a soft blue velvet throne, like feel to it, pillows and everything. And you just find yourself sitting in the middle of this chair. You don't know why. And no sooner do you sit down, like there's like a glass of wine that's in your hand, and like a bowl of fruit. And when you look down, like you have, like, it's not what you were wearing when you fell asleep. Like it's like if you had a suit of armor.
Well, she was wearing that moon ivy.
Yeah, I know, but if you had a suit of armor, how would you want it designed? Like it was a full plate mail.
It didn't seem like you could wear that.
No, you can't. But how would you want it designed?
Take Xena and make it a little bit more twisted.
Okay. So a lot of more twisted curves and like maybe some blues, like
Shiny.
a lot of shiny, a lot of metal pieces. You know, where you can see like the armor banding that sticks out.
Big pieces and the other. Yeah, but it's there.
Okay. So it's everything that you would want it to be. And like you look across this courtyard, you you see that it's just littered with like dead bodies. And it doesn't bother you at all.
What's going on
And when like you start having like the whole entire like everything seems to vanish except for like the bowl of fruit and like your wine, your seat, and like you hear that same whispering voice.
Who are you? Get out here and show yourself.
And you feel like that the throne beneath you like twists and like before you realize it, like you're standing in someone's hand. And this person, this figure, this human figure, like closer to a face, and the closer it comes, you see that there's 5 dragons. And it's a woman's fully nude woman figure. And instead of a woman's head, there's just like what could be considered a hydra's mass of like 5 dragon heads. And you go, you know who I am. And she goes, so you have something to tell me. She smiles at you and goes, don't worry. Or the dragon faces smile at you and goes, don't worry. We would have had this conversation with you when you fell asleep. But it just makes it easier when you're in a sanctified room. Or rather, building.
Okay. So, what is this all about? Like, I get like the helping people so that they can help bring about things for you, so that you can come out and do your thing. Get that. But what need do you have with me? I mean, I am tiny. I don't carry much power. I'm like this tiny speck of a creature compared to like, the giants that are here to help you guys.
So she starts laughing when you start saying this. And she she like she like holds up her other hand and points behind you.
Behind me.
So when you look behind you, like it's like a movie theater, but it's like the endless expanse of everything you've seen. It's like an IMAX movie, but you're in the middle of it. Like you all of a sudden see this huge army of dragons, like dragons of every color and every imaginable description. Like you've never seen like a dragon before, so like you're like it's one of those great moments of wonder, but you quickly notice that there are figures riding these dragons, and they're welding these giant lances, and they crash into each other. Or every so often, like a rider is dismounted from a dragon and like plummets out of the sky, and like dragons are using direct weapons against each other. And in the midst of like this fight, your eyes are drawn to this figure on like a golden dragon, and he's this figure. You seem to think it's a man for some reason, and if you're looking closer, it gets closer and closer, and you see it's this man with a dash riding a gold dragon, and he's welding this lance that's silver colored, and like
Building.
Well, he's, you know,
You said welding.
welding. He's using it to put two pieces of metal together. But anyways, so you see him and the dragon all of a sudden like dive out of the sky like they're not like they're after something on the ground, and they disappear, and like you keep following them and following them,
Is that
and you hear her hits a name, and she says it's a knight named Puma. She goes, the first time I was defeated, I was defeated by a puny mortal just like yourself. And you see like flies out of the sky, and he connects this lake of black stone and black stone, and you see Robert quickly like seeming to disengage from the fight, and like, you see like a lot of, and time goes forward again, and she says the second time I tried to take over the world, I was stopped by mortals again. And like you see humans, it's a man and a woman, and like the man and the woman like come across like this little sort of jewel, and the man goes to steal one of the jewels, and like the woman stops him, and he ends up like, cutting her, and like she vanishes down. Like it seemed like a vacuum cleaner turns on. It's like, and the gem that he had in his hand that he pried loose while they were wrestling, like you notice that it's embedded in his chest, and you see him take off running. And then she kind of like causes time to go forward, and you see the, this dwarf, this small creature that looks like a couple of humans that are dressed like in armor. There's one in like a red robe that has golden skin, and she shows you that these humans and like the couple non-humans that are with them basically end up defeating her again. And this time, you know, it was a wizard that decided to put himself into the doorway between her and the world and kept her. So she tells you, so she snaps her fingers, and like the images and everything disappear.
what was the name of the person she said?
She said the name of Huma. It's spelled Huma. And she goes, so as you see, I've been stopped by mortals before. This time, I won't be stopped because I want mortals on my side. And I'm trying to choose very carefully.
Be careful. Some of these.
She goes, Bannister?
Bannister.
She goes, who's in charge?
No, I understand. But he's not one to be taken lightly or trusted very easily. The way he's rolled over people.
She smiles at you, and she waves her hand, and you like she motions again for you.
Okay.
And when you turn around, like Spanish is, and there is a very tall female giant with gray skin and black hair, and she is smacking him about the head.
That is wife.
And she smiles and goes, indeed. She goes, as you see, you are the one in charge. So I have things flowing. She goes, but that's not what we're here about.
Then what am I here for?
What do you want? What would it take for me to have you bow down to me? Or at least serve me?
Answers.
Okay.
Answers about what really happened to me as a child. Stories.
She smiles and she goes, as I said, the first one's on me for free.
Mm-hmm.
So she waves her other hand again, and when you turn around, like you're not standing in her hand anymore, you're standing in this house that you've never been in before. You've had no memory of being here, but it feels very. You notice that it's like not carved wood. The wood's made of, and like you kind of wander around the room for a few minutes before like you notice that in the middle of the room, and there's a baby in it, and you notice that the window that it's very overgrown, almost as if the forest has eaten whatever building that this room is contained in. And seeing this in the baby, what do you do?
I walk over close to where the baby is.
Okay. When
I look in the crib at the child.
you look at the child, they look like you did as a child.
There's more
The
than one?
baby. The baby, I should say.
Okay.
I say they because like you're looking into yourself, basically. So you get the feeling that that's you.
Okay.
And
any markings inside the crib and stuff?
there's no like magic or anything, but like you are like looking at yourself in this cradle and you hear a sound all of a sudden and like you see like three pixies all of a sudden like you're out of nowhere. And like they're followed by like a couple of other, and you get the feeling like there are other types of fae, but you don't have the knowledge to really, but you know that they're fae. Some part of you knows that they're fae, and like you hear like not your favorite grandmother, but your elven grandmother say to your grandfather, you know, it's time to feed her. And he can go, oh, I have a perfect thing for that. I've been working on it. And like you hear the sounds of someone casting a spell, and you see a circle. And when you're looking at the circle, like those fey creatures that were invisible, like they look down at the floor all of a sudden, and they have an oh shit look on their face. And all of a sudden, like there's a flash, and like your grandfather's holding you, and you, like when you see yourself like being held by your grandfather, like you notice that green blue essence that's kind of like someone took a whole bunch of like glitter, like shook it up and like shot it out of like a laser beam, and like it just decided to circle itself. And
was that just around everything?
No, that was, you notice like it's in like your eye, like baby you's eyes and like skin for a few moments. And one of like the things that you notice is like with like you kind of take on like those little aspects that you had before the change, where it's like you look elf but not quite elf right, and like like you know that fades away and like you're standing back into Jesus' hand.
Okay. So,
Do you need an explanation?
so they were just trying to like, teleport from one room to another. What are those other fey creatures though? other than the pixies?
She goes, well, there's a few brownies, and it appears that there may have been more, what they may call more advanced pixies. Because I'm not familiar with everything, of course. I am a goddess, but there are some things, unfortunately, that are beyond my net. And fey creatures happens to be one of them. I don't have very many who choose to follow my lead.
Okay, so
Interesting. Go ahead.
I help you, and you help me with just like a few things.
Okay.
Give you more insight on other fish type creatures. That's kind of one you. It looks like.
Interesting. And how do you find it?
To help you.
About the few types of fey creatures that you're made out of.
I may be able to get more information from my grandparents to find out more. There's a few people back where I'm from that have lots of information and research that could be helpful.
She goes, perhaps. She goes, but there is perhaps someone close to her more than your grandparents could ever know in their lifetime.
My other grandmother?
No. There is, how to put this lightly without having you have what one of you mortals call a freak out then. There's a lich that resides in a tower not far from here.
Didn't we have one of those in the other town?
A lich? No.
Oh, I thought you said what's his face? Cloth was.
No, that's it. Different people are. Yeah, mind players.
Okay. So, how similar is that to one's mind player or
She chuckles. She she takes one of her finger in her other hand and she wiggles it, and all there is this skeletal creature wearing wizard robes, and it has like these points of light inside its like skull eyes. And she goes, "This is a lich."
interesting? It's a character right from the grandma doll.
And when she stops, like the figure disappears, and she goes, "The lich that's not far from here has all kinds of knowledge in his library. He may be willing to tell you something in exchange for knowledge that you may know."
Okay.
She is not only that, but my servant ready. Perhaps if you were to accompany them, they would be able to tell you more.
Is this the priestess that was speaking to me earlier today?
No, it's not the priestess that you were speaking to,
Or the cleric, my bad.
or rather the cleric. No, this is something different, in fact. So she basically looks at you and she smiles and she I guess I didn't. I know, right? So she says that the witch that she's sending servants to go see is named Taladar the Un. Taladar is a is an ally of theirs, and they do business with him every so often.
Okay.
He trades knowledge, magic items, and hasn't responded to a couple of missives that have gone out to him. So that's why she says that they're going to end up sending someone out there with them.
Certainly.
She says Taladar is useful in many fields. In fact, being a witch, she's had very, very, very long time to. His name is not Adderall the Unmarked. You can go and write it down. It's not Taladar, it's Alcindar. Sorry, Arhgal.
Smart.
It tells you that Adderall is like a day's ride from there. And like you hear the sound of a bell and everything vanishes all of a sudden.
Okay.
And like you're laying like in that little crawl space. And like you hear the sounds of like 3 bells all of a sudden. And in fact, from where you are, give me a D20. Maybe. I don't know, you're small.
9.
Like you're not bleeding from the ears, but like you're thoroughly disoriented for like a few minutes.
Trying to back out.
Okay, so like you're invisible, and like when you back out, like you forget to flutter for a few minutes, and then like you're all of a sudden like, oh my god. And you're like, oh my god, I think I gotta save myself. And like by the time you get back down to the ground, like you notice like the doors are open, and there is like this figure wearing overalls with this what can only be described as like it looks like someone shaved a giant gorilla's arms and like sewed them on to this person. And the arms are like this dangerous green color, and like it's like that really bad type of sewing with oversized thread into like where the arms join the body.
So I'm like hovering about
And like they have brown shaggy hair.
3.5, 4 feet off the ground.
Okay.
And visible again. Like, all right.
As soon as they see you, they look at you and they go, "Are you Bluebell?"
Yeah.
I'm Cricket. I'm supposed to take you around.
Okay. Before we go, I just need to go back inside for a minute. Is that okay?
He goes, "Yeah, I'll come with you."
Okay.
So the giant figure wearing the overalls with the long brown hair walks after you.
Okay.
Where are you going? So when you go to find her, like you notice this, like, and like she sees you and smiles and like she walks down for you. And she goes, "I thought you weren't coming in."
I ended up. Do you guys have somebody going as Rigel?
She goes, "Yes, Cricket's supposed to go."
Oh. Okay. All right. Yeah.
Cricket looks at her and goes, "Where am I supposed to go?" She goes, "Cricket, I'll talk to you later. Take her to. She looks around and she goes, "Take her to the Tower of Daggers and give her one of the suites upstairs." And he looks at you and goes, She looks like she could make one of them. Okay. And he smiles at you and turns around and like.
Look like I could what?
And he smiles and goes, "You look like you could like stay." You go, I'm murder you. Ah. You notice he has a childlike exuberance, like when he's mimicking like somebody like sneak attacking somebody, and like he even like from being like you kind of notice like he's about 8 feet tall. His legs are not right, but you notice like he does this roll like and he looks at her and goes, "Yes, ma'am." She goes, "Do you mind?" And he goes, "No, I was just getting all excited in it, talking about stabbing people." And she goes, "Just go, Cricket. Just don't make a nuisance of yourself and behave." He goes, "Yes, ma'am. I'll make sure that I'm on my best behavior." And he smiles. He, he looks on you. You kind of look. Okay. So he walks you out and he through like the town. Like you notice like the town is built between 5 big towers and there's one big huge tower that and this centralized tower is not where you're going, but he takes you to a tower that's nearby. Alright, sure, I'll walk right outside. Exactly 1 second. Yes, so
Okay.
he takes you to a red-colored, not a red-colored tower, excuse me, it's a green-colored tower. And it's made out of green-colored stone. And it has a single door, and this tower is about 20 feet tall. I'll be back in a second. What should talk me want go on? There you go, do it.
Lazy bum.
Shit, talk about banana. So, so what I say it was about 8 cents for salt that you can get me gas.
Will you switch what people?
Oh, I would be the proper gas. So you notice that so often up the tower. You're not sure. But the tower seems that it's well built and that it can siege of its own. So like he doesn't even bother knocking on the door, like he whips the doors open, leads you through and like closes the door right behind you. There are gnolls. I don't know if you've never seen a gnoll. There is this hyena-looking humanoid that's like sitting at a desk and has like a sword and like a hand crossbow, like sitting, and has a big book out in front of him. And says, looks at Cricket and goes, "Cricket, you're not allowed in. So what are you doing here?" And he goes, "Oh, I'm just orders." He goes, "We both know that's a lie." "I know. Priestess Halsta sent me." He goes, "She needs the sweet up top. Too sweet. Needs make it quick, puppy." Looks at him and goes, "This is why you're not allowed in here. You don't know how to not make jokes about people. You could be your bellhop and make up, you know." He goes, "Miss, may I have your name?" Hands to it. Well, because he'll sign the book, please. The rules of the building was don't murder nobody in here. If you murder somebody, you're responsible for body disposal.
Okay.
Second of all, you break into somebody's room, be consequences what matter. Because town guard doesn't enter this tower. Everybody here is a thief or a thief. So be on your own guard. If you have a problem, I will mediate. I won't get involved, but I'll make sure that both sides have an argument.
Okay.
Because other than that, enjoy your stay.
Okay.
So Cricket leads you to a very wide staircase. And goes, staircase. And he takes you, as you guess, there are about 20 stories, and you notice that there are hallways that split off every side of the tower. It's like that there's there's like a little placard turned over, or like there's something that's hanging on from a doorknob or something that's drawn on one of the doors. There's probably about 13 or 20 doors up here. You can't really tell because of how some of them are sitting in alcoves. But like he notices a door that's not marked or anything, and like he and it opens, and he goes, "Oh, this one illuminates enough the room to see that you have this giant one-room suite to where it has like a bathtub that's floor, and not only is it set into the floor, but like you notice that there's a fire pit under the tub. So you can build a fire and actually have heated water. Like that's one of the things like you notice that it's kind of crude. Maria has better ways of doing it using magic, but like it's a pretty nice suite. There's a large enough bed to like where 6 of you can sleep. Like awesome, no problem in either direction. And so like he opens the curtain stuff, and you notice like a little window. There's space enough to be able to let light in, like deep color greens, and you notice the particular colors.
I still don't have any change of clothes.
He, like, do you say it out loud?
If I'm remembering right.
Whatever
well, like,
you,
we have like
whatever
the
you
other clothing
stuffed.
that was dirty.
Yeah, whatever you stuffed into your bag or had it on you.
So just wearing the ivy armor and like undergarments.
And that's it.
Plus the dirty stuff in the bag.
So Cricket looks at you and goes, "Do you have anything you want me to go take to be washed for you?" He goes, "We can have a tailor come up here." He goes, "I don't think that stick looks mighty comfortable."
There's a tailor. You have a tailor come up.
He goes, "Shoot, yeah." And he turns, like, he runs to the corner of the room, and like you see like there's labels on these little cords, and he pulls the cord like a couple of times and he yanks it too hard the first time, and he goes, so like he's standing, he goes, "I'll have a bell cord system. I have to run and do everything myself." He goes, "It's nice living in one of the towers. I live on the bottom of the temple."
So what time are we leaving to go on to the
He
date?
goes, "Oh, whenever Alice says that we're ready. I think she's trying to get you to sit on the first step." So while you're standing there, there's a knock on the door, and like he runs over, opens the door, and this little woman comes in, and she's like this small little human woman, and
She's small. She's not small compared to me.
Well, you can tell like she's really being weighed down by her age, so she has the whole stoop thing going on.
She is small.
No, but she's like kind of crippled up. She's trying to speak. So she walks up to you. She and she's measuring. So she measures your arms, your chest, and you those dirty clothes.
I have a couple.
So she takes your dirty clothes and like she makes like those marks that she made and everything. Like she records them. Like she takes things and pieces of charcoal and she like writes it on her skin. And she takes your dirty clothes and she goes, "I'll have measurements made off these." So she disappears. He goes, "Did you want something to eat?" He goes, "I want to pull another cord."
Okay.
So he pulls
Just remember, care for the first part.
He goes, "You got it." So he pulls almost every single cord. And over the procession of the next few minutes, like you have people that are bearing pictures of water, like firewood. People start bringing up like platters. They start bringing up like just like almost anything like you can think of. Like they bring up like a couple of bottles of liquor. Like they bring up like a big huge like picture of ale. Like they seem to be like laying out like a whole selection of stuff for you without you even saying what you do or don't want. And like they don't say a word human. You notice that they're all humans. Like there's not really any elves. Well, a lot of the servants are humans, and they're very quick with everything that they do. And he goes, wait, wait, it's better. So like you notice like they pour the water into the bathtub, they light the fire, and like the tub actually glows in like a pink marble color. He goes, "I told you it would get better. It's so pretty, isn't it?" And he goes, "Oh, I better leave so you can get paid." So like
Tell me there's towels and like a robe or something.
yeah, like you. That's one of the things that they brought in. They brought in linens and they brought in fresh linens. They laid out more blankets and sheets and stuff on the bed. Like quite literally, when he pulled all the cords, like anything that you could possibly have wanted during the night, they brought up. Like there's even a tray of like a roll, what you think is a rolled cigarette and like a cigar, like loose little like container. So I mean, like they thought of like anything and everything. Like they've even brought up like like you're looking there's a tray with like empty papers and like a quill and like an inkwell. So I mean, like they've laid out a good selection of things for you to be able to like relax. So like he shooed the last of the servants out, and he says, "Well, I guess I'll see you in the morning, unless something horrible happens, and then I gotta run back, and then I won't be able to allow to come up the stairs, and I'll have to come get you." He goes, "Okay, bye. I'll see you in the morning." Then he closes the door behind him, and you hear the sound of someone skipping down the hall, or skipping down the rotunda, and then down the stairs. And then you hear somebody yell out, "No skipping in the stairs, damn it!" She has interesting servants, doesn't she? So, where do you begin in your evening of relaxation?
That would be take off the amulet, put it in a circlet, put it in my bag of holding,
Okay.
and keep that within arm's reach
Okay.
as I go to take a bath.
So, you're able to take a bath and everything without any issues. Once you're done, you seems to be a very quiet structure. Not like there's any problems or anything at all. I mean, there are trays and stuff that are sitting near the fireplace that you see like there's that are sitting near cups and stuff. So
Yeah, I really have good long pots so they're clean for like the days of travel.
we had a week long crazy life.
Yeah, let alone the boat, the airship, and all that too.
Everybody loves an airship.
All right, and then proceed to eat afterwards.
Okay, so one of the things that you notice is that it's venison, and like there's a large selection of vegetables that are roasted. There's not really any fruits or vegetable, or any fruits, but like there are berries. Is one of the other things I don't think that really counts as traditional fruit, like compared to what you're used to seeing in a market where it'd be like an orange or like a lime or like an apple. Instead like you notice like it's berries. A lot of hard cheeses are also mushrooms.
So while eating, I'm going to take a little head out of my bag.
Okay.
And be like, hey, Grandma, what's going on?
So you write her a letter?
Yes.
Okay, so you just ask her what's going on?
How are things? Anything new? Yeah.
So when you try to reach her statue, like you don't get a response back. Or at least not that you notice, but the note does disappear.
Okay. Put it back.
Okay.
I'm wearing like the bathrobe of like also.
Okay. One of the things that you do notice is that while you're waiting for your grandmother, the statue does vibrate. And like a folded letter appears again.
Okay. Take the note and open it up.
It is. You don't seem to be able to make any sense out of the note at all whatsoever. It's like somebody wrote it in a hurry and then like threw it like under the statue, and the ink didn't have time to set, so it blotted it. But from what you can make out, like it says like words ROMA is like one of the letters that, or one of the words that aren't blotted.
Roma.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't she have an uncle named kind of similar?
Now, when you think back on it, like your grandmother said that your uncle said that he had a contact that was traveling between Pax Romania and like Black Tower. And her grandmother was saying that that gentleman that you had met there as well.
Okay. Interesting.
So that's pretty much the only thing that you get out of the magic statue. A parcel delivery. So anything else?
I take my split knee for the armor, I put that back on.
Okay.
But the overlay will come back.
Okay.
And investigate the room.
Overnight, that armor will grow back. So while you're relaxing, there is a knock at the door. Not shortly. And that she appears and there's something with her. A couple of racks. Like they had these two metal racks. They push them slash clothing. And it ranges in various like styles, like your guard uniform. Like there's a couple of fancy versions of that. There it's kind of like fully great, but like the only way that it can be described as like 1980s heavy metal like style, like armor that's just like, look at my tits, this is practical, style armors and stuff. So I mean, like giving like the full range from like outrageous to sensible.
What would be on there that's something that would not be the Sluts R Us version?
Like you pick between it and like the Sluts Are Us version, is like there's a nice, sensible version of what would have been your art, like your under tunic, that light, like it also has like a leather skate, like you have like I think it was like there's like a light blue leather armor, and it has like a green dagger motif, like on a couple of like scales.
Okay.
So I mean, like there's one like that.
I'll take that. Is there any like comfort looking like night like dress or shifts or
There's
whatever? Like regular clothing things?
there's a couple outfits that you like. There's an outfit that you could swear would be for sleeping in, perhaps, or like maybe lounging around.
Okay.
And like there's like another outfit like that would kind of be like maybe something you could wear underneath like your armor as like traveling clothes.
Okay.
That's awesome. That you see the favor.
Okay. So I grabbed those.
Okay.
How much?
She looks at you funny, and she doesn't seem to understand. She goes, "What do you mean?"
Like you don't charge for this?
She goes, "No." She smiles and like she turns and like ushers the others out of the room, and like they take the racks with them, and it's all gone. Like, they're gone in a matter of minutes.
Okay.
Kind of weird, huh? Maybe a thing they don't ask for money.
Or did you miss me out of the room?
No, actually. Nope.
Okay.
So the rest of the evening kind of passes. At some point, you just go to sleep.
Yep, after letting a chair under the doorknob, keep the door shut.
Okay. So when you wake up in the morning, the chair is not against the doorknob. Like the chair is back sitting where it was, and there's a note sitting on the chair that says, "Please don't move the furniture at night." Signed, the management. And you notice that like there's a little bit of dog hair on it as well.
Okay.
So when that's one of the things that you notice would be like the sound of 5 bells.
Okay.
And you can see that the sun is starting to come up.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine you get yourself ready, and because you would circle it overnight, like when you wake up, that it has replaced itself.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever clothing that you wore underneath it has now is thrown over it.
Yeah, no, I didn't have. I just had like the bra underwear, like underclothes thing.
Okay. So no underclothes, the ivy's thrown over it, and it's gonna form you so clothes.
Yep.
Okay. So after a few minutes.
So she got everything tucked back in her bag of holding.
Okay.
So you still have food left over from last night?
There is food left over from last night. Like there's like some berries, and like there's a bottle of wine.
Okay.
And you didn't touch anything else like that before there. So
I didn't eat
like,
all of it.
full on,
Yeah.
like
She's tiny. She can't do all that.
you know, sit there and like smoke and drink yourself into
Oh,
oblivion.
she didn't touch any of that.
Okay.
Although I wanted to throw it in her bag of holding.
Okay. So like you are about halfway through breakfast when there's like a knock at the door, and like you turn around and someone slides something out of the door, and it's like an envelope. So like when you open the envelope, there's a letter, and it says, "At your earliest convenience, please come to the temple." And like it says Hauser on it,
Okay.
and like there's like a little flower drawn on them, like underneath her name, and like the flower's like sticking through like a skull.
Okay.
So
Is there a cloth that I can take, like some of the cheeks and the stuff?
there's enough linens like you could be able to like seal pouches.
I wouldn't be stealing it. I mean, if it's there for me. So.
Yeah, so you could be able to tuck food away.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
Okay. So, like, you know, you probably not want to leave it sitting in your couch holding forever.
Yeah, no.
Okay, so just wanted.
Oh, yeah, no.
The couch does not preserve.
Yeah, so.
So.
I mean, we got the bottle of wine in there.
So, imagine anything of cheese, you know.
No.
Can
Oh, no,
quite
something for like
easily-
a quick snack, like.
Okay. So.
Crazy person.
Would have eaten breakfast and tucked extra food away. What do you do now? Okay. So you sit down for
Yeah.
sitting into that, and like you take like a toothpick. And you have, like,
Do I sign up?
you start, I'll murder him for you.
Ooh. This is constant. Thank you.
You know, it's like also said, starts kicking between his toes, and like sits there and takes his foot and starts doing the whole on cleaning other legs.
I'm going.
So now you notice that since you're a crowd less humans, there's more goblin time of day for some reason, and it becomes evidently clear that like are being called to stand in formation and everything. They're being counted. It seems names are being taken. You see a very familiar figure wearing overalls down there, and running up to you, Bluebell, Bluebell. He goes, "Sit down." He goes, "Oh wow, with
Keep it cold.
you." Okay,
So where is she?
she's in the temple. I'll wait.
Okay.
So he takes and he moves one of the statues. In fact, he dragon statue completely out of the way, and there's a stairwell that he leads you down, and he pulls this so that it closes. Takes you down a stairwell and takes you into a large. He's sitting at a desk. I see a yawning sound. We're gonna call it 8 o'clock or 5.
Maybe it's a little bit after.
Okay. So she goes, "Oh, Bluebell, how did you sleep?"
Yeah.
She goes, "Did you get my note?"
Yes.
Good. Good. There wasn't any problems during it. I'm glad. She goes, "So
So I'm busy.
yeah, taking Cricket." She looks at Cricket, and Cricket looks at her, and he goes, "It's gonna be fun."
Remember. Oh.
And she goes, "Oh, yeah, Cricket's worse than this." She goes, "I think it's time that we give you everything that you need to be able to do. You can do so well." He looks at her and he goes, "You mean y'all are gonna give me magic items?" He waves his fingers and says, "Regrettably, yes."
Your hand being like a twisted version of her.
And she looks at him and goes, "You're beyond your best behavior, and you're to protect her, right?" He looks at you and goes, "I don't see how it would be very hard, but I'll do my best." So she hands him like a large bag that she pulls out of a drawer, and she goes, "Well, Eddie, and we'll see you when you come back."
Good.
Yeah. So Cricket takes his bag, and you hear him skipping up the stairs, and like when he's out of sight, you hear the door open and close again. She looks at you and she goes, "Cricket,
not a normal creature.
I've noticed.
He's part flesh golem. So he's a little excitable, and I have to warn you, if he gets in combat, he will fly off the handle until he destroys whatever is standing in front of him.
Okay,
And
I never stand in front of him.
Usually whatever has injured him. He doesn't go berserk, some golems do, but you see how his behavior is. If he's hit by fire, like fire or cold magic, he'll notice he gets a lot less excitable and he'll slow down. If he's hit by electricity, he'll speed up and it heals him. So just be aware of these weird facts about him so that if you see him hit by lightning or anything, you don't look out and he's dead. Some of our knights have had issues with it, and that's why he doesn't really go outside anymore. And you'll need this, and she hands you a map. Okay, so she says this will lead you to this tower.
What information is it that you guys were waiting on?
Well, she looks at you and she goes,
I know you guys have said that and haven't had any response back.
She goes, well, I'm going to trust you. She goes, he's one of those, Azrael is one of those liches who he likes to collect knowledge and likes to know things. And
she told me that.
He on dragon history.
Mm-hmm.
And as you may know, the dragons disappeared from our world. We don't know why. Mm-hmm. But, they are supposed to return one day. Mm-hmm. Well, Azrael seems to have knowledge of where there are bands of dragon-blooded creatures that we could perhaps be able to use to bolster our forces, or just to be able to maybe be able to include, or maybe be able to spread the word to pieces too, or maybe be able to find out where the dragons went, or a way to be able to draw their dragons back to the world. So that's where his knowledge comes in.
His knowledge is like bullets, right?
Yeah.
So then, what kind of, has he made any inkling as what kind of information he wants to trade for this?
Well, with him, he basically seeking just anything, any knowledge that we may have of things that he doesn't. So we set scrolls and books and things like that.
Oh, wait a second. I have scrolls. His knowledge of? And,
How many scrolls were there? So now just focus these with random magic items.
I haven't opened it or anything.
I know.
It's not open it.
All right.
I'd be presenting them to her. And a bottle of something.
Or that bottle of wine.
No. It was a bottle of something. You didn't say it was a
That's
bottle
right.
of
It was a potion bottle, wasn't it? I always hate the fact that sometimes you open stuff and No, because it's not in the fucking book. That's why. I think it's behind there. Maybe. So she'll take a look at your next item or your items that you entered, and she'll say, "I'll have these identified for you." And that's where I will leave you off for the evening. With her going to identify these items for you, and I'll have them on your character sheet. We'll let everyone know what they are tomorrow. Until then, so tomorrow. How's that sound?
Okay.
Good night for now, people.